This week we're talking about illustrations, and I'm sure you've already talked with your teachers or they've told you that illustrations are usually pictures in books and pictures that help give meaning to a story and pictures that probably make the story a lot more interesting. And when you draw a picture, you use simple lines to start off with. And then you might make your picture more complicated by adding colour, adding shapes, adding patterns, but you always start with lines. So we're going to look at this book today. It's all about lines and it's called A Line Can Be. If you look closely, you can see that the words a line can be is made up of lines. And then behind there are lots of lines, lots of orange lines to make a pattern. So the book says lines can be hard, soft, it can be simple or complicated. Wow, look at that line. It can go up and down. It can be thick, so that's like a fat line, or thin. It can go above or below. It can be easy, there's an easy line, or tricky. Wow, look at this line, it goes round and round and round. And when it gets into the middle, it goes round and all the way back out again. And round and round. Or a line can be clean. It's a nice clean line. Or messy. It can be straight or curvy. A line can be happy. Oh, is a smiley face. Or sad. Just like you and me. And here they've drawn 3 people, but it's really clever because they've used one line and that line never stops. It keeps going and going and going all the way to the end. I hope you like that story. So this week we are going to use different types of lines and colours to create some illustrations. So as I said already, this week we are going to practice or draw some simple illustrations. We're going to use lines to create our illustrations, and we're going to practice things that you would find outside, items in a landscape, because later on we're actually going to be making up some stories and drawing some pictures for them. So being able to draw these will be very useful. So the first thing we're going to draw is a cloud, and it might be easier to get a pencil and just separate your paper into 4 areas. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to do that to make it simpler for me. So the first thing we're going to draw is a cloud, and this is made up of a few curvy lines. So we go 1, 2. So we're just drawing a curvy line, curvy line, curvy line, a curvy line, and then we're going to join those 2 together. There's a simple cloud. Okay. The next thing we're going to draw is a tree. So we're going to put 2 lines down. I'm drawing it up at the bottom to show where the grass is. And then it's a bit like our cloud shape. We're going to draw that again, but that's going to be the top of our tree. This time we can make it a little bit taller. There's our tree shape. Now we're going to have a go at drawing some hills. So first of all, we have to draw a line to show where the ground is. And then we're going to do a curvy line again, and we're just going to go up and down. That's going to be one hill. And then where this hill has finished, halfway up, you're going to start a second hill. So we're going to go up and down. And then when that one's finished, halfway up, you're going to do the same again, up and down. There we've got 3 hills. If you want to, you've got a little space here. Maybe I'll put another hill there behind. So this one is in front, and then because you can't see all of these hills, they are behind this one. So you've got one hill where you draw the whole shape, and then the others you draw behind, coming from the side of that one. And then the last thing we're going to draw is the sun. And we're actually going to use lines to colour in our pictures. So for my sun, I'm going to draw a circle. And then I'm going to draw 2 lines, and I'm going to join them together at the top and the bottom. I'm just going to keep going around doing that. So 2 lines. And if you see, actually my lines get a little bit bigger as they come out. Oh, I forgot to draw the 2 lines first. There we go. So I want to draw 1, 2, and then join them together at both ends. 1, 2, join together at both ends. This is one that is maybe a little bit more tricky. I wonder what type of lines I'm using here. That's right, straight lines. So I'm going 1, 2, join them together at both ends. Try and keep the rays of your sun the same length, if you can, and trying to keep this space here the same length, same distance, same amount of space. If you can think of anything else that could be in a landscape, that means outside, you could have a go at drawing that too. You could have a go at doing something like the moon, maybe a river. Oh, look, I've got a big space there. Let's fill that one up. Got a bit of a space there. So when you finish, you can go and fill any spaces in. You could have a go at drawing flowers. If you think of flowers, they are pretty similar to my sun or to my cloud or the top of my tree. I could just put a circle in the middle. So that's something else you could do. Before I add any colour to this, I think I'm just going to put a line here in to show where the ground is for my tree. Okay, so what you're going to do next is you're going to add colour, but we're going to think about lines. A bit like in the book, if you see behind, we have got these lovely lines as a background. So that's not all coloured in orange, but the orange pattern is made of straight lines going up and across, up and down and across, backwards and forwards. They're called vertical and horizontal lines, different types of straight lines. So we are going to have a go, and you can choose. You could use coloured pencil, you could use pen. You think of your own types of lines. So I might do some spiral lines where we go round and round inside my cloud shape. So I'm going to decorate this one with spirals. And what I want to do is I want to go right to the edge, but I don't want to go over the edge. So I want to keep those lines inside my shape, a bit like when we did our monsters last week. And we used kind of scribbly lines to colour, but we didn't scribble around our monster. We tried to keep that shape inside. So make sure your lines fill up all of the shape, but try not to go over the edges. You can use all sorts of lines. So I'm using spirals where we start in the middle and go round, round, round. But I know at school we talked about zigzags, we talked about curvy lines, we have talked about different types of straight lines, we talked about fancy lines, we've got wavy lines, dotted lines, so many different types of lines. And that's what artists do. They use all sorts of different lines in their drawings and illustrations, and they use them to create pictures, which is what we're doing here. We're being like illustrators. Okay, so I've got spirals on that one. You could use different colours if you want to, up to you. Now I'm going to do my tree, and I think usually a tree is green, so I think I'm going to do some zigzags. And again, look, I'm stopping when I get to the edges. Okay, so I could leave it like that, or I could get a different green and put some zigzags going the other way. A bit like they did in the book where they put the orange lines going both ways. And then I need to do the trunk of my tree. I think I'll put some straight lines down for the trunk. There we go. And I could even do the grass. And maybe I'll do some zigzags for the grass. Okay, so I'm practicing with my lines. think I might speed it up now, but obviously I am going to use different types of lines in here. I think I could use, what should I do? Maybe I'll do some curvy lines for my hills, some straight lines for the ground, and maybe I'm going to do, I think maybe like circle-y lines in here and maybe some straight lines here. So have a look, have a go, experiment with your lines and experiment making these 4 different things: a cloud, a tree, some hills, and the sun. And most of all, have fun. And if you like doing this, you can do it again on another piece of paper, try with different things. And if you don't have any colours, then you can use your pencil and draw the types of lines with a pencil. You don't have to add colour, you can still practice just with a piece of paper and a pencil.